a theme called Your Words, Other Mouths. So you're talking about your language and someone else giving articulation to it.
Monetizing and writing novels don't go together. In fact, they're polar opposites. But
what about monetizing and writing for films?
well, now, writing for films is a bit of a godsend for many a novelist because most screenplays are not produced. What I like about writing novels is that when you finish them, I show them to my wife, who is a very good natural first editor, but also to an editor I choose, I trust, and that is nearly the extent of what the voices you get. Whenever you write a script, it's a delightful process. It's much quicker than the novel. You don't have to rush it. It's still good. You can write it in 3 months, whereas a novel is, you can write a good script in 3 months. Some people can write a good script in a week. But then that multiplicity of voices, how do you work out which voice to listen to? I mean, some of them you've got to listen to, and then how do you respect yourself in the morning after you've had to change something you didn't want to?
Well, I also appreciate a lot that my wife often reads the first draft of whatever I've written. What usually happens is that she is a very good editor, so she tell me right where it doesn't work, and then I will tell her she's all wrong, and then I go to my room and change it. And then I later come back and I pretend I just figured it all out myself, but she knows. But in terms of writing screenplay, it's true, it's very difficult to find out, and I think it's even more difficult the younger you are and the more you are dependent on the money, because there's always this option. You can always say to the guys, whoever's doing it, you can say like, but that's how I want it to be done, and if you don't want to do it that way, then just find someone else to do it. What they've paid you until then, they've paid you, so that's fine. But at the same time, you know, like there are all these other voices in your head that tell you, like, if you now get in trouble with these people, then they will never work with you again in the future, and they might say bad things about you, whatever. So there's you always have. I think that's very difficult to find out, like, how far you want to go and how much you want to sell, you know, your soul. Because to a certain extent, you often do it, especially if I wrote so far screenplays that don't have to do with my novels. So like I'm, for example, writing the adaptation of my last novel. That's okay. I really want to do this. It's like very dear to me. But there are other projects where they approach me. Now they know that I live half a year in India, and then they come, they say like, you know, you want to write this love story about this German tourist going to India and falling in love. And I remember that this, for example, happened very early after the first time I had been here, and I told them I don't know anything, and I was like, how am I supposed to write that novel? And they said like, it's okay, you just write it. And I said no, I've just only been here for a month, so I can't write a novel that is like a screenplay that all happens in India. And they're like, no, it's okay, you don't have to be there. So then at some point I just said no, I'm not going to do it, because I knew I would be very, very bad at doing it. But it was very tough to say no, because the money you get for it would be the money to live like at least 1-2 years.
I think they just have a sure instinct. They don't have theories about it. I think they're a little bit like novelists. Most of the clever stuff that novelists do comes from the subconscious. It doesn't come from conscious intelligence. And the wonderful thing is, because people think it comes from conscious intelligence, they treat you with respect at literary festivals.